The Agent David O. Show.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. And if you listen to our last episode, we talked about owning the real estate that you're selling to create freedom. And so many agents haven't invested in real estate. Actually, 90% of agents don't invest in real estate, which is a statistic that completely blew my mind. And I think a lot of that is we're constantly chasing commissions, right? We're constantly working hard to get the next deal under contract, so we've got a commission check coming in. And the thing that we all struggle with as agents is nobody knows what we're making 90 days from now. Like you look 3 months out, there's no closings on the books, right? I have no idea what kind of income's going to show up. It all depends on what I do over the next 90 days to get more clients, to get more deals under contract, to keep filling that pipeline, right? Well, when we start owning the real estate that we're selling, we can create additional streams of income, either from rentals or from flipping properties that can help fill those gaps. That can help give us that financial stability that, hey, I've got rent coming in 90 days from now. I've got a flip that's going to sell 6 months from now. So I've got these chunks of income that are coming in, regardless of if I found the next client house to sell or house to buy, right? And so many agents are caught up with, well, I don't have the cash, I don't have the 20% down payment to buy my first investment property. And that's honestly where I was when I first got started. On the last episode, I told you the story of how I got inspired to buy my first investment property. And on this show, I want to go into how I structured a deal to where I didn't have to use my own cash to buy my first investment property. The strategy I used was something very commonly referred to as the BRRRR method. The BRRRR method is simply an acronym. It stands for buy, rehab, rent out, refinance, repeat, right? Buy, rehab, rent out, refinance, and repeat. And basically, what you're trying to do here is add enough equity in the deal. So just using simple numbers here, let's say I buy a house for $100,000. Okay. I buy a house for $100,000. I rehab the house. So I put $50,000 into rehabbing the house. And I'm all into this property at $150,000. If I want to do the BRRRR method exactly the way it's laid out, my hope is that after I've rehabbed this house, it is now worth $200,000, right? And that's exactly 75% of the ARV. So 75% of $200,000 is 150, right? So if I can get all in on this investment property at the 75% of the ARV, I can take this property to any bank and they will put a mortgage on it for 75%, maybe sometimes even 80% of what it would appraise for. And so in that scenario, what I can do is I can borrow that money short term to rent it out or to buy it and rehab it, right? Any private lender, any hard money lender, any short-term lender, looking at the numbers of that deal that I just laid out, is willing to give me the 150 that I need to buy and renovate this property. In about 3 to 6 months after that, I'm going to go and I'm going to refinance it at a bank into a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Okay. And they're going to give me the mortgage for 150 that's going to pay back that short-term lender that loaned me the money. And I'm going to own this property now. And hopefully I rented it out. And now I've got a tenant paying my mortgage, paying my utilities, paying my taxes, paying my insurance. And hopefully I've got a little bit on top of that that I'm taking home as cash flow, right? Every single month. And so that's how I bought my first 20 rental properties, is using that exact same strategy. I never had to come out of pocket to put down a down payment because when I started out, I didn't have it. I didn't have the 20% down. And so I had to use creative strategies. So the BRRRR method is one of them that we help a lot of investor clients do, because they're in our same scenario, right? They want to start investing in real estate, but they don't have the down payments to buy a portfolio of 20 rental properties. Which, when I'm looking at my portfolio today, if somebody wanted to buy my whole rental portfolio, they'd probably need, it's worth about $5 million. they probably need $2 million in cash to pull that off. Like that sounds insane. Like where is somebody going to get $2 million in cash to buy a rental portfolio of 20 properties? Well, I've built it over the last 5, 7 years by doing the BRRRR method, just doing one house at a time. Some years we added 3 or 4 properties, other years we added 1 or 2 properties. And we've kind of been just at a steady, consistent pace of doing this over time to where now it's building real wealth. It has real passive income for me and my family. So I want that same thing for you. And the BRRRR method is one way to do that. I'll give you a couple other options here. For somebody that is renting right now, let's say you're a real estate agent and you don't even own your own home, you're renting. You're basically throwing away money every single month, right? I talked to an agent yesterday, was renting a loft style apartment for $2,100 a month. So every single month, $2,100 being thrown away. Don't I love that when you're renting, it's like paying 100% interest, right? All you're doing is paying 100% interest. You don't own any property. It's going out the door. You get nothing in return for it but a place to live that month. That's not going to help you build wealth. That's not going to help you build the wealth of investing and owning in real estate. So, how about instead of renting, you buy a multifamily building? Maybe you buy a duplex, maybe you buy a fourplex, and you live in one of the units, and the other unit is renting from you. They're paying you that $2,100 a month, and you're using it to pay for your mortgage, essentially living for free. That is one of the most popular strategies that I would recommend to somebody that's just starting out and they don't own a home yet and they want to start investing in real estate. They don't know where to start. It's called house hacking. It's when you buy a property and you rent out the other units. You can even do this in a single family and rent out the other rooms. Renting by the room has become a very popular thing. I don't know how comfortable I'd be with that. Somebody renting a room in my house, I guess I'd have to vet them pretty good. But the younger generation is all for it, right? They want the mobility of being able to rent a room and be on the move and not have a bunch of things and go to different cities and explore the country, right? So that's a popular thing. So figure out a way that you can stop renting, start owning, and then using that property to offset your mortgage payment so you can essentially live for free. And the great thing about house hacking is you get access to owner occupied financing. If you don't know what that means when you're financing the property and you're going to live there yourself, you get different mortgage terms. You get a lower interest rate. You get a lower down payment. You can actually qualify for an FHA mortgage, which is only 3.5% down. So I don't need 20% down to go buy a property that I'm going to own or occupy. I can go buy that fourplex and put 3.5% cash down and now potentially even get a credit from the seller or use my commission to kind of offset the whole 3.5%, right? So we've seen this with some of our newer agents is they'll go buy a fourplex with an FHA mortgage. So they're required to have 3.5% down, but then, hey, they're going to apply their 3% commission to that down payment. And hey, they're going to get another 1 or 2% seller credit from the seller. And now they're walking out of closing with money in their hand to buy their own investment property that they're going to live in and rent out the other units. I mean, it does not get any easier than that, folks. Why 90% of agents aren't doing it, my mind is completely blown. I don't know why that's the case. But guys, if you're an agent that doesn't own right now, go buy a duplex, go buy a fourplex, get an FHA mortgage with 3.5% down, apply your commission to the down payment and get paid, guys. Get paid to buy your first investment property and then have your tenants pay you every month to own that investment property and watch what happens to your net worth and your wealth over the years because that would be a huge change. So that's one way. Another way is to partner with somebody else. So the big thing is, hey, I've got to get 20% down to buy this investment property. Even maybe I'm not living in it. Maybe I'm not doing the BRRRR method. It's just a turnkey, ready to go investment property. With the investors that you're connecting with on the agent side, pitch them on doing a deal together. Say, hey, I found this deal. Could you bring the money and I'll pay you interest or I'll pay you a percentage of the profits or whatever the deal is, and let me run the deal and let you just bring the money and be kind of a silent partner in this investment. You'd be surprised at how many people want to invest passively in that capacity, that have money that may be sitting in an IRA, that's maybe sitting in the stock market, and they want to get it into something more secure like real estate where they actually own something. And they don't want to manage the tenants, they don't want to manage the maintenance calls or anything like that. But they just want to return on their money. They would be open to partnering with you to doing some of these deals. So that's one. Seller financing is another one. We get a lot of people reaching out to us about. Seller financing works really well when you have a tired landlord that isn't going to be able to get what they owe on the property, because it's just not worth that in today's market. And so what you can pitch to them is, hey, if you finance this deal so that I buy it, let me fix it up, let me turn over the tenants, let me get the rents up, and over the course of the next year or two, I'm going to make it worth enough to where I can refinance it and I can pay you back and I can pay you back for that loan. And a lot of times you can structure these deals with seller financing to where you don't have to bring any money out of pocket to do those deals. So we see that quite a bit, um, quite a bit as well. But I'd encourage you to go the ownership route. Those are some ideas to start this journey right now. And it all starts with, guys, just thinking like an investor friendly agent. Get a copy of the book, Investor Friendly Agent. If you made it this far in the show, I've got a free gift for you. Go to freeagentbook.com. You can download the PDF and the audio version for free. Would love to get your feedback on it. Shoot me a review on Amazon. Shoot me a message. Would love to jump on a call and help you strategize on becoming the next investor friendly agent so you can build wealth for you and your family. Thanks for tuning in.